An exclusive 9news.com.au-Galaxy poll shows Malcolm Turnbull is in the fight and could even pick up a crucial seat from Labour at next year's election. According to the poll, conducted on Wednesday night and Thursday morning in 3 key marginal seats, voters trust the Prime Minister and coalition government more to manage the economy. However, despite promised income tax cuts, more than half say they'll either be worse off or that Tuesday's budget will make no difference to their family. The poll showed the Turnbull government is more trusted to manage the economy. AAP, most also disapprove of the tax cuts for big companies. 1607 voters were polled across the 3 seats, the Liberal-held Robertson in NSW and Chisholm in Victoria, and the Labour seat of Herbert in far north Queensland. It's the first major poll since the budget, and gives the Turnbull government reason for optimism. After preferences, the Liberals have improved their support in Robertson, and lead Labour 52-48, it's deadlocked at 50-50 in Chisholm, with Labour's vote up 1.2% on the last election. The interesting result is Herbert, held with a wafer-thin margin by Labour's Cathy O'Toole and home to the controversial Adani coal mine. On a two-party, preferred basis, the LNP leads 51-49, but the budget, seen as crucial to turning around the government's political fortunes, hasn't been embraced. Asked if think they'll be better off, 24% in Robertson said yes, as did 26% in Chisholm, and 24% in Herbert. As to whether they'll be worse off, 20% in Robertson think they will be, 23% in Chisholm, and 27% in Herbert. Those who believe the budget will make no difference is interesting. 48% in Robertson said no change, 43% in Chisholm, and 36% in Herbert. In all 3 seats, the Turnbull government is by a big margin trusted more to manage the economy. In Robertson, 45% gave the Prime Minister the thumbs up, and 44% in Chisholm. But tellingly, only 27% in the Labour-held Herbert-backed Bill Shorten, compared to 48% for Mr Turnbull and his government. Voters are split on who they trust to manage health and education. Health and education are generally seen as positives for Labour but, worryingly for the opposition, voters in Herbert 47% believe they're better managed by the Turnbull government. Just 32% say Mr Shorten and Labour. In Robertson, 42% of those surveyed say they believe Labour are best placed to look after health and education, while 40% believe the government is. In Chisholm, 45% say Labour while 41% put their faith in the coalition. The Turnbull government has more work to do convincing voters to support its plan to cut the corporate tax rate, according to the poll. Asked if they approve or disapprove of the government's policy to give big business a 5% tax cut, only 36% of Herbert voters approve and just 32% in Chisholm, while Robertson was split 42% each way, with 16% of voters uncommitted. So, at the end of a budget week when Scott Morrison delivered his economic and political blueprint, there's a ray of hope for the Prime Minister. How the government sells the message, whether it can convince voters the budget does deliver fair, equitable, sustainable tax cuts, will go a long way to determining if these results in 3 marginal seats will be reflected nationwide. The survey was conducted by YouGov Galaxy for 9news.com.au on the night of May 9 and morning of May 10. The results are based on the opinions of 514 voters in Robertson, 539 voters in Chisholm and 554 voters in Herbert. The data has been weighted and projected to reflect the population of each electorate. Copyright 9 Digital Thai Limited 2018.